Margot McDermott, list in hand. Let's go through the 7 names and tell us more about the new senators. Margot?
Heather, the new senators come from Ontario. There are 3 from Ontario, 2 from Manitoba, and 2 from Quebec. And let's go through the list. Cthanal Petitclerc, who's a former Paralympian, also the head, the chef de mission to the Rio Paralympic Games. Murray Sinclair, who is a retired Manitoba judge and the former head of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Francis Lankin, who is a minister in the former Ontario NDP government and a national security expert. Raymond Gagné, who's a former president of Manitoba's Université de Saint-Boniface. And then we have Ratner Omnivar, who's an immigration expert and an executive director at the Ryerson University's Global Diversity Exchange. Another person from Quebec, André Pratt, who's a former editorial writer for La Presse and a very well-known Federalist writer. And then, interestingly here, Peter Harder, who's a former senior bureaucrat, very well respected. He headed up the transition team for the Trudeau government after they were elected. He spent 29 years in government, 16 of those as a deputy minister for some pretty high-profile departments, including Foreign Affairs and the Treasury Board. And the interesting thing about Peter Harder, he's also going to be named as the government representative in the Senate. And this is why. You'll remember that Trudeau said all the Liberal senators were no longer Liberals, but they were independents, to sort of take away the partisanship, or to try to take away the partisanship in the Senate. But they still need to get government bills through the Senate. They need someone to shepherd them through that upper body. So Peter Harder is going to be the man to do that. And so he will be not the government leader, but the government representative in the Senate.
So for 3 months this has been going on, Margot. The Independent Advisory Board for Senate Appointments, its official title, has been consulting and trying to come up with this list to advise the Prime Minister. That's been the process to this point. What's going to happen next?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, the timing is interesting in the appointments today because, as you know, the budget's coming down on Tuesday. And from that budget has to be approved by the Senate, and other legislation will flow from that budget. So they needed to have these senators, start to get senators in place to kind of put some form to the Senate, which is a little bit disorganized right now. And they really needed to get that thing operating better. So that's one thing. But second of all, there are 17 vacancies that still exist in the Senate. So expect other appointments to come soon as well, because they need to appoint those other people to fill those vacancies and to try and balance off the Senate, which still is dominated by the Conservatives. So expect some more appointments down the road.